start that off by saying, I mean, I'm hella proud of you.
I appreciate you, bro.
Mhm.
I know you, bro, because you were one of the first people that I texted probably like a year ago, bro, when I was first thinking about starting this, bro. And it just wasn't the right time yet, bro. But now this is the time, bro. And
that's our
we're
here.
Yes, sir. All right, bro. Just start from just tell everybody who you are, bro, what you do, and then we'll just go from there.
Of course, man. I'm Devin Kirby. Head varsity coach at Tempe High School now, played at Montana State for 5 years. So from 2016 to 2021, that's when I graduated. But in 2021, with the Bobcat for 5 years, man, through and through. But now I'm just coaching. And
Where, bro, okay, before we get started, bro, I just want to say this in all respect, and I love Mama Kirby and everything, bro, but she had you a year too soon, bro.
Yeah.
You getting paid, bro. You be getting paid.
Bad dog, I'm knowing. Man, them NIL's crazy, man. The NIL's right now crazy.
Hey, okay, we're gonna talk about that a little bit, but kind of just tell us who you are, bro. Kind of tell us about your family, bro, and just
Yeah, of course, man. I was born and raised in Arizona, right? My mom was single mom, right? The stuff that she's been through that's even beyond words, right? Like I can't even begin to explain it. She got 2 kids. I got an older brother named Maurice, and he played basketball at Virginia Tech, then Loyola Chicago. Then he wrote a book too. Wrote a book on his experiences, man.
Really,
he's a writer, publisher. I gotta send you a copy actually. I gotta send you a copy. No, seriously, but you would like it, yeah. Just about the experience of a college athlete, right? What we go through, the behind the scenes stuff like that. But yeah, man, I was born and raised in Arizona. My mom's from South Central Los Angeles, so she's been through it, man. She's been through the ringer. Single mom, and just what she did for us, just beyond words. So
swear, kind of talk about Mama Kirby, bro. She played at Northern Arizona.
But NAU, yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Kind of just touch on her a little bit. You don't gotta get too into it, but
yeah, man. So she was the first one from her family to actually go to college, then to graduate college, right? And that's kind of where I get my, like my little edge from what she did in terms of like adversity wise, right? That's a huge accomplishment, being the first one in your family to get out of that lifestyle, right? Then to get a D1 scholarship, right? To have your tuition paid for and your books paid for and your food and housing and everything like that. So just from that transition from her, right? From leaving that environment to go to Arizona. And then when she went to Arizona, she just fell in love with it. Then she stayed there, but was one of the best rebounders in school history there. Like I think that her like career high was 28, like in one game or something like that. That was like a rebounding record. And yeah, man. And that was before the WNBA was there, like and everything like that. But then she even went through like some knee surgeries too, but then she still played. So yeah, like I get a lot of my edge and my grit from her. You know what I mean? And she's just been the lot of my life and the inspiration of my life, man. And I wouldn't be where I'm at today without her. So
swear, bro. That's awesome, bro. Kind of touch on your brother a little bit, bro, and how he kind of led the way for you to kind of for you to come in and
right. Yeah, of course, man, we all, we aspire to have kind of like a mentor like that, right? To set the path, to set the foundation. He actually like committed to Arizona State like at 14 years old. So one of the youngest like commits, right? Like in school history then at the time, got an offer like at 14 to then committed, right? To just bang, bang, bang. Obviously, right? The like Arizona kid, that was going to be a great move. But as he started to fill out the recruiting process, right? Like he decommitted, then he just wanted to go through that process like himself, right? Then he actually had like brain surgery, at one point in his career. Man, he had brain surgery and just like an adverse family, right? But he paved the way for me in terms of just seeing like how he would handle like certain situations, especially like the college route, right? So then when it was my turn for the recruiting process and everything like that, right? Like I wasn't shell shocked by it. I was like, okay, this is how Mo handled it. Bang, 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 like everything like that. But it's just, man, what he's meant to me just as a brother, right? As that older figure, just great, right? Like just teaching me about life, the fundamentals of life, right? Just learning how to time manage, to financial manage, right? Like he's always in my corner, just dropping gems in my ear, just daily. You know what I mean? And that bond will never break away. So.
That's what's up, bro. I think, did your brother ever go play overseas or anything? What did he do
Yeah.
after? Okay.
Yeah. He played overseas. So he went to Barcelona, right? Then he went to Uruguay. Then he went to Mexico. But then obviously with the pandemic hitting when he was in Mexico, all that overseas travel and stuff like that, that border travels, they closed down borders. So they were like, look, we're gonna close down these borders, bang, bang, bang. Like, you want to stay, but you're probably not gonna see your family for like 5-6 months as this pandemic is that global pandemic we've lived through. Man, is absolutely crazy. And so he made the decision like to come home, right? And then after that, man, it was just like it took a whole year, right? Like a year and a half, like 14 months or whatever that was. So that was the road for him. And but he had good success overseas. And just being able to experience like those places, right? That's the game of basketball, man. That, like, it allows us to travel, that then allows us like to see places that we wouldn't have even dreamed of, right? That, like, he never would have dreamed of going to Spain to play like professionally, right? Then getting paid for that to go to South America, right? Then to go to Mexico. So but when the pandemic hit, obviously, but with the border controls and everything like that, that was just a sticky situation all around for him. So,
bro, what was one thing that he told you? What's one thing that sticks with you, like, to this day, that he told you, like, that helps you?
Of course, man. But man, one thing that he told me, man, is just never drop off. Like never drop off ever. Like, you always got to keep your eye on that goal, or like your end goal, whatever that goal is. So even when I got hurt, like, he told me that during the pandemic, he told me that when we went home for a little bit, then I continued just just to keep my body right. Like, I always had to keep my body right. Like don't ever drop off. Don't ever like relax or like get comfortable in the space that you're in right now. Because as soon as you get comfortable, that like someone, they're looking for your spot, that they're trying to take your spot, et cetera, et cetera. There could be someone that's outworking you, right? Then you never want to get outworked. Then don't ever take like things for granted, man. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, obviously, just because like how I was raised and brought up. And then of course through my like experiences, right? Just don't ever take stuff for granted, man. Don't ever take shit for granted, because like you never know. We put, like I could have never imagined, right? Like my injury, one. And then two, the global pandemic. We could have never imagined that, right? Yep. Shut down the world for like a year, right? Like year and a half, years some change. And we still kind of seeing the repercussions of that. So it's just, just never take things for granted, man. Cause like you never know, like you never ever know. So.
Swear. Okay, bro, let's start from like kind of start from your freshman year and kind of just explain like the recruiting process, your injury, kind of what happened after your injury, and just yeah,
man. So it was my like my junior year, like high school. I got injured in high school. You want me to go through that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, yeah. So it was my junior year, man. But my junior year of high school, we were playing in like a holiday tournament, right? Like a holiday tournament. We actually playing like our rivals in the championship game of this holiday tournament. So obviously, like we're pumped up, but then we're juiced up and everything like that, man. Then it was just so weird because the day before we were talking about like the Kevin Ware injury, like, right? Like from Louisville, about how that was just, that was just all basic closeout, or just close out and then just landed, then just buckled, right? But then we were talking about that. But then the day before, man, I kid you not, like I was like, man, Like I've never been injured like in my life, right? Like thank God that's never happened to me. Like I've never been hurt, Like not even like a sprained ankle or nothing. Like I'm blessed, And then the very next day, man, I was going through like my warm-ups, and then like my knees were just feeling, like kind of stiff, kind of shaky. So I was like, man, I'll just take like some ibuprofen, man, then I'll be fine, right? But it was just so weird seeing like the parallels of that. And then so we ran like a lob play, right? Whenever we just needed like a momentum shifting like type of bucket, right? And then so like I came off this high screen, then I came around, right? So like I beat my man off, but the pass was kind of late. And so I beat my man off. Like, so instead of jumping off one, right? Like I had to gather, pause, then I had to jump off two. But as I gathered and paused, right? There just like a slight little, like a little bump on my back, like a slight one. But that's not what caused this, this is a freak thing. And then all of a sudden, though, just my legs, like they gave out. They just completely gave out, man. I couldn't even feel my leg. They were just numb, right? And then obviously, like I'm going through my head, like, am I paralyzed? Like what just happened? Da da da. Like I can't move. I'm numb and I'm hurt. Right. Like I didn't scream or nothing. Like I didn't yell. I didn't scream, man. Like I was just in shock. Right. Because like I couldn't bend them. And then so obviously, like my mom like came out to the court. My coaches came out to the court. It was kind of like a gym where they had fans on like the second, third level too, like courtside kind of, right? Like hoop side. I look up, man, and they were just all, they were hovering around and they were standing and there was cameras in my face and lights in my face and all this stuff. And I was like, dude, like what just happened? Right? Like I have no idea like what just happened. And then I went to the paramedics. Then they told me that I had the exact same fracture, like in both legs, like the exact same fracture, right? Which had never been heard of, man. Like I've never even heard of that injury before. Like the exact same fracture. I dislocated my kneecaps. Yeah, we went to the hospital, man. I got surgery. We're going into New Year's. So December was 31st. So going into New Year's, man, I got the surgery. Woke up the next day, man. It was January 1st, like 2015. And, like just wondering, like what the hell just happened. And so that was the injury point, man. And then as soon as that couldn't have came at like a worse time. Cause like your junior year, like for recruitment, man, that's huge. Right? Like you gotta ball out your junior year. If you don't ball out your junior year, right, your goals and aspirations, like where you want to go, that vision, then that window, like it's smaller and smaller. So, just going through that. And then obviously, right, like we understand the collegiate side of it, right? Like you're hired, then you're brought in, right? Then you got to get recruits, right? Like you got to get players. You got to get good players. And then so like obviously, right, like I started getting those calls. They heard about the injury. And then, like I was mad at the time, but, like I understand that is a business aspect of it too, right? Like there were some coaches that didn't want to take a chance of a rehabbing player coming off an injury that is unparalleled. 2 broken tibias at the same time. That's tough to come back from in terms of just like your daily life activities, but to be able to hoop at a high level too, right? Like that's just something that most coaches, they're uncomfortable with. And so, I mean, like some schools, man, that they dropped off and everything like that, but which is understandable. But I've retained some offers still. Then I still had some like D1 offers and everything like that. And Montana State, that was just a school that they never dropped off, that they never dropped off, and they kept in contact. They did an at-home visit and everything. They ate dinner with my mom and my grandma, man, and my brother. And yeah, man, that's what was it. And so like I went up there, like I took my visit, fell in love with the campus, man. I fell in love with the culture. Just fell in love with the chemistry of the guys and what they had going on there and everything like that. Then I saw the vision that they set out. And, like loyalty is huge to me, right? Just loyalty within people, right? Like people that you can trust and rely on, that will never turn their back on you, like at any single time, at every single moment, but especially the darkest moments, right? That's when you need them the most. And so, yeah, they're one of those schools for me, man. So I just went with them.
That's what's up, bro. What about Montana State? Like, what is a misconception? What did you think when you first heard about Montana State, or when they first you? And who was the coach at that time? It wasn't
Brian Fish. Brian Fish was the coach at the time.
Yeah, that's crazy. And let's talk about that too. Staying the conversion of another coaching staff too. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just explain Montana State, bro, and why, and what draws towards Montana State.
Yeah, man. So like obviously, right? Like I never even been to Montana, right? Then I kind of paired the Montanas and the Wyomings and the Dakotas, right? Like I kind of compared them all to kind of, like countryside, right? So, but when I first got the call to go up and visit, like I was like, man, like it's gonna be, like in farmland and everything like that, and there's gonna be like horses, like in cattle, obviously, but like stereotypical, right? Like I just assumed that, right? Like I just assumed that. But when I landed, man, I went to campus and I was like, man, dude, like this is a gorgeous campus, right? Like I love the campus, man. I loved just everything about it. But obviously, when I first was going on and everything like that, I was like, man, like Montana, like, oh man, you know what I mean? Like I didn't even know what to think about it, right? But Yeah, but obviously that's just the stereotypical don't judge a book, right? Like you never want to judge a book. Like you want to go out, you want to see it for yourself and you want to experience it for yourself. So yeah, that was my first conceptions of it though.
Okay. You guys got Nike Christmas, right?
Huh?
You guys get Nike Christmas or what was Montana State's like?
Mm-hmm.
Were they Nike or Adidas?
We no, we Under Armour.
Under Armour.
Yes,
do you guys Christmas or like how do you guys get gear? Explain your gear. Like how you guys get like all the tights, Are you guys buying them? Are you guys
Oh no, yeah. So we got an equipment guy, and then one of our guys at the time that was kind of like the head of gear, the director of ops, and he was the assistant coach as well with Luke Finley, right? And I love my guy Luke. I call him Unc. And so Luke, he would obviously like the thing that he would brainstorm with the other coaching staff and everything like that. Then he would just ask them their perspective on kind of gears and what would look nice and everything like that. But yeah, we didn't have to buy a thing. We didn't have to buy a thing. You know, the like D1, they treated us right, man. That was all expenses paid, the gear was paid and everything like that, man. And when we would walk into the locker room, then it would just be laid out, right? With the backpacks and obviously, but we're in Montana, so we had our puffer jackets and the sweats and everything like that. And, you know, the dry fit stuff and the dry fit tees and dry fit long sleeves and everything like that. So yeah, no, they did us well with the gear, man. That's big time.
Quick, you know, like
yeah, of course.
Oh, come on. I used to always wonder about that. I used to see like Gonzaga players. They used to have like the shooting sleeves and stuff. I'm like, dang, I want those so bad. Like,
right.
And I was, they really pay for those? Like, and then I'm like, how?
Exactly.
Okay. Should athletes be paid? Should college athletes be paid?
1,000%. I think they should.
1,000%. Okay, why?
1,000%. That shouldn't even be just from my perspective, right? I just feel like, and then especially like we talking about the high major dudes, right? Like if we talking about, you know, the Alabamas and the LSUs and the Ohio States, one big thing for me, especially when everything like this like was coming out, right? About the name, the image and likeness deals and everything like that. I just thought back to the Fab Five. But you ever watch that documentary?
Of course.
Of course you did, right? And then what really stuck out to me was when Jalen Rose, when Jalen Rose was like, yeah, like I pulled up to the gas station or something to like a team store, then they were selling my jersey, my number 5 jersey, right? Then they were making money off of me like that. But I'm trying to, right? Like I'm worrying about like how soon I can fill up my tank, or like, oh yeah, well, what's going to be my dinner for the night, right? Like what can I afford and everything like that. Then I just feel like, right, like if they're already like, if they're capitalizing off of these athletes, that they should get compensated, right? Like in some way. That's just my personal opinion on it.
So you believe, should all athletes be paid at all levels?
Like I definitely feel like it's a budget conversation, right? Like obviously, right? Like, man, the deals that some of these guys are getting, like I'm seeing, you know, like some of these Power 5, they're like quarterbacks getting like $2 million a year, right? Which is great for them, right? They're like great for them, right? They're like you capitalize on what you can capitalize on. But obviously, right, like the mid majors and the low majors, they can't be giving athletes those $1 million, right? The name, like an image contract. So I definitely feel like a budget conversation in terms of what you can spend, what you can give them, right? But I feel like it should be a conversation like of what you can give them, but within the limits, like of what you can afford and what you can give.
Okay. Explain the transfer portal. How does that work? Yeah.
So obviously, right, you put your name out, right? Like you put your name out there, you have that conversation with a coach, right? About, hey, like things just aren't working out, but whatever the case may be, right? Like I'm not in those meetings, but whatever the case may be, right? Like if you feel like it's best for you, then it's best for you, right? But you put your name out there, then as soon as you're in the portal, then that gives colleges, you know what I mean? Like that access to contact you, then to recruit you as a transfer scholarship.
Okay. What is something that you heard coaches say to you? What was something that you just heard like kind of over and over again that like coaches that to try to sweeten the pot or something, like to get you to come to their school.
Yeah. Of course. Well, obviously, right. The main thing is like PT. The main thing is playing time.
Of course,
Right.
come on.
That's right. And then, you know what I mean? So the main thing is playing time. So like on my, right. But kind of with transferring, right? So like I personally like would never end in that position where I had to move schools, right? But like I was blessed to be at the same institution like for 5 years. And you know, like Coach Sprink has had such a impact on my life, man, that I can't even explain, especially with that coaching staff that he brought in when you Sprink and Has and Russ and like Coach Luke, and I can go like on and on about the coaches that I've had. But yeah, like obviously like the main thing is playing time, right? The main thing is playing time. The main thing is the campus, right? That's always what they preach. That's always what they practice and preach is the PT and the campus life. So
okay, what does 17-year-old Devin Kirby need to hear from a coach that's like you're like, damn, like I'll really consider you?
Right. Yeah, no, the thing with me, right, like it's just making sure when I was that kid, right, I just wanted to be the best player and best athlete that I could be when it's all said and done, right? Like I wanted to have an impact on that program and that university, you know, like just as a whole, like to be remembered, right? Like I just wanted to make an impact where I'm remembered, that I'm not forgotten when I graduate, right? And then as long as I did that, I was very happy with what I did. Like no matter what the stats say, like and everything like that. And then obviously, then you want to win too, right? So like you want to make sure that you're in the best position to win. So what are the returners looking like? You know what I mean? Like who are the other incoming freshmen that are going to come in with you, right? Which obviously, man, like I had, you know, in my opinion, the greatest point guard like to ever play the game at Montana State, knowing Harry. Right, that was my class partner right there. The like 2016 class was me and Harry. That's all they brought in. And so, you know, when you get kind of like that scene like that, and then obviously the returners were Zach Green, they were Sam Newman, they were Tyler Hall, right? You know, then you know what T did there. That T is the all-time leading scorer like in conference history. So obviously, right.
I see. He's still
exactly. So it's like, right, then that's 17-year-old me. And then obviously they brought in people like Keldon that's playing on the Blazers right now. They brought in a lot of good transfers, right, with Zeno and with JB. And so like obviously, right, when kind of, but the initial conversations, it just kind of, who's going to be like my running mate, right? Like who am I coming in with? And then kind of what's the team kind of looking like from this point on? And then kind of when I saw the guys like that, and then I saw that my running mate was going to be Harry, man. That just made me even more excited.
So, bro, okay. Explain to some of the people. It's funny that you said about Tyler. I just wrote down all three of their names, Keldon. Tyler. Explain to the people that don't know. I was at Montana, the University of Montana. I was a Grizz at that time when I seen Tyler Hall come 2016 to Montana and just put the work. And I don't think they won the game, but he put work in. And I'm like, who is this boy? Like, and bro is like kind of hefty, like, and I'm like, he's not hefty. And then I see Keldon and all. Explain Keldon, explain Tyler, explain just yeah.
Yeah, man. When you talk about, man, that group of guys, then again, right? Like I feel like timing is everything. Putting the right like pieces in play is everything like that as well. But even just based on them three guys, right? Like I'll run down them since you want to, right? That I'll start off with Kel. Now, Kel's just a dog, right? But it runs in the fan. Kel's a dog, right? And then like he never let him being tied to Dame like influence anything that he did. Like he made his own name, like 1000%. So let's, you know what I mean, that kind of narrative that he's timed to Dame and everything like that. Now, Kel's a dog, right? That boy would come in, but man, got stupid bounce. Dude even got invited to the, like, you know, that collegiate, that dunk contest that they always do. That in the 3-point contest, that boy got invited to that, right? Like, so it's just like Kel, like he made her own name like for himself, right? So Kel's a dog in itself. Man, that boy T is one of the craziest like bucket getters that I've ever seen, like just point blank period, right?
Just,
The way that he would score. And then when he would that's the thing with T, when he got hot, man, he got hot. Like you couldn't control him. Like there was no stopping. Like it didn't matter what the scout said. There was no stopping him when he got hot, right? The tremendous worker. They all just tremendous workers. Obviously, like speaks for itself. The all-time, the like leading scorer in conference history, like in a conference that had like Rodney Stuckey that played for the Pistons, that got Dame. You already know what Dame do, right? And then so that just speaks for itself. Now he's getting a great opportunity to like in the league right now off of like these two-way contracts and everything like that. Man, I just love like seeing him like thrive and be in that, just be in that environment that he always dreamed of, right? So that just makes me happy. And then, man, words can't even explain for Harry, man, that like I already said earlier, my opinion, right, that I don't even care that's because like I play with him, but that's the best point guard to ever play at that university, in my opinion. Bro, just the way that he would like control pace. And man, I got a lot of my buckets from him, from all those lobs and all those pocket passes and dump downs and everything like that. Just the way that he would control pace, like, and we had such a like connection, right? Obviously, like from living with him, right? Just him being one of my boys, that we didn't even have to say anything like to each other, like in open gyms or everything like that. We just kind of, like we read each other. We flowed off each other. Then we played off each other. But he's just so like cerebral that I can't even like describe just kind of the overall effect that he had on the game whenever he would play. Like he was the true definition of a floor general. Like he is a floor general. Like no question about it. Then we talk about guys that like getting hot. When Harry gets hot, them logo checks and them heat checks that he's doing, crazy, man. Crazy. There's a reason why we call him the captain, man. He's just a floor general, man. We trust the game. We trust the game in his hands 1,000%. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
That's what's up. Okay, bro. Explain like a Tuesday in the life of like at Montana State. Like when you're going through classes, practice, explain like what did the day look like to you?
Man, the grind is crazy. Right. That's what I really want people to understand, that like the grind of a collegiate athlete is absolutely crazy. Right. Now I understand, right? Like I've kind of gotten commented, I've had this conversation with people before, right? That I kind of got comments like, well, like I tell my schedule to them, then it's like, well, like you don't have a job. Then I'm like, no, I do have a job. Right. Like doing this, right? Because obviously this is a full ride scholarship. So like your tuition, books, like you don't have no like student debt. Like you're there to get an education, firstly, right? Obviously, then to play basketball, right? So it's like that's a job in itself. So again, like day in the life, like if you wake up, right, like you wake up, that you may have a class like from 8 to 10, right? Then you might have a class like from 10 to 12. So bang, like back-to-back classes. Then you got to go get lunch. Then after that, then you got your workouts, right? So like 12:30. You probably gonna lift, right? Like you're gonna lift. Then in my case, right, like I lifted, then I got rehab right after. Because after rehab, right, then you got practice. And then so obviously the rehab for me, that I'd probably take like 30 to 40 minutes, right? To just get on them, then compression boosts or anything like that. Get with my trainer, Brett. Obviously, the PT guy and the athletic trainer there, Brett, for us, we did a great job for me, man. I love him to death, man. And I owe him all the credit in the world for having me play the 5 years that I played there. I wouldn't have played 5 years without Brett. And so obviously like get your rehab in, then you got practice, right? And then again, that's a grueling like 2.5 to 3 hour practice right there. And then obviously like all of that, then you get hydrated again. They hydrate, eat. They got that nutrition station, hydrate, eat. But then now you got to knock out some homework. Now you got to do papers, right? Then et cetera. Then you got to knock out all this. And then it's just in such a like condensed time that you never really have any free time, right? Like it's literally like one event, then the next event, bang, bang, bang. Then that's all in a row. Then you wake up and you got to do the same thing all over again. So it's really a grind, man. It's crazy.
Bro, I agree with you 100%. I argue with people. I'm not going to say all the time, bro, but like I I see you, bro. I've seen you, bro. I've seen when we were at Montana State, bro. I've seen some of the being friends with like just with some of the athletes and things like that, bro.
Yeah.
You guys are working 24/7, bro. You guys are up early in the morning, bro, until 10 o'clock doing, and not only that, you still have to do your practice. You still, as you're saying, hydration. You still got to do papers. You still got to do. You still want to socialize. You still want to you still like it, and you still gotta have that college experience, bro. And I just think that you got like I know I don't know how many days you guys are there, but I know football players, bro, are probably there for 315 days a year on campus.
Yeah,
like they're probably home for maybe a month and a half, 2 months, maybe. Like you're never home, bro. You don't get to go. You don't get the regular college experience, and that's the reason why I went to college, bro. I never thought about going to college. I never really until like my senior year. There was a really cute girl, bro, that was like, I'm going to Montana, and I was like, don't gotta write an essay or nothing. I said, I might have to take you up on that, like, and that's. But just seeing how you guys work, bro, and like how you guys are still integrated into the community and everything, bro. That's why I have no problem with you guys getting paid, bro, or if it's like whatever it is, bro, getting your free tuition. I used to argue with people, bro, at Montana State when people would get mad. My own friends be getting mad at you guys, bro, because they're they don't have to. They get everything paid for. We got to pay for it and everything. And I'm like, yeah, but they got a full 40-hour job, like 40 hours, and it's probably more. I'm not gonna. I don't know, bro.
I'll get the grind. That's the grind.
And then I'll kind of get off of this. Explain when the season got shut down and everything. What happened? What did you guys do? What did you do once COVID happened? Did you go home? Like,
yeah. So yeah, man, that, and then obviously, right, but that was kind of the where you were when you kind of got the news moment, right? And it was just because again, all right, so let's get started like this. Okay, so when was the first initial kind of like trace of it, you think? Like January that year?
Yeah, like December, January.
Yeah, right. Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so we kind of like we heard about it, right? And we were like, oh damn, like it's happening to like in China. Like it came from China or something, right? And then and then obviously, right, they broke the news about the first case in the US. Then we were like, oh shit, this is getting real, right? Like this is getting very real. And then I remember it was like we just finished like our senior night game against Northern Colorado, right? And then we drove to Boise. We flew out to Boise. That's where our conference championships are held. And then we were getting ready for the game. No, we were getting ready like for walkthrough or something. And then bang, we hear that Sports Center, right? That da-na-na, right? And then it was like, oh yeah, like breaking news. Like Rudy Gobert has like tested positive like for COVID.
Yeah.
Then we were like, oh shit, right? And then I think that the Jazz, I think that they were about to play a game, like as soon as the news dropped. So now like all the fans had to leave and all the teams that had to go back to the locker rooms get shut down. And then the video came out like a Rudy Gobert, right? Like during the press conference was kind of like he got asked about the virus, right? I think that he was just trying to troll. Then he right when he left the stand or whatever, like he started like touching and grabbing all the mics and everything like that, like the day before that. And then so yeah, but when the news broke that he had the virus or whatever, that they were like, oh yeah, like tonight's game is canceled. So we were like, oh shit, like they're really trying to figure out like how to handle this, because obviously this is the first time that it's been in kind of like the world of sports, right? Because obviously like there were cases, but this is kind of like the first one within like the world of sports. And we were like, okay, let's see like how they're gonna handle this. And then like I could be wrong about this, but I don't think that it was more like than 24 hours from when the league was like, oh yeah, like the rest of the season games are canceled. Like they're done. Like we're not gonna play anymore. And we were like, dude. And then this is like the lead up into the game. So the Rudy Gobert news, I think like with like a day and a half like before the game, then the day before the game, it was like, yeah, the league is canceled. And then obviously, right, like our group chat is going crazy. Like, man, but what's going to happen with us, but with collegiate, right? Like if they're canceling, they're like professional, then it's only a matter of time before like collegiate gets canceled, right? Obviously, like that trickle down effect. And then, man, I'll never forget this, man. We were at breakfast. We were at team breakfast the day of the game. then the Big Sky, we were the last conference to kind of like continue to hold our games because like the ACC got shut down, the SEC got shut down, the Pac got shut down, and everything like that. Then we were like, man, like all these conference tournaments are getting shut down. And then so we saw Sprint, like then his phone rang. That he was just on the phone. Then all of a sudden, like he got up, then he ran out the restaurant. Then we were like, man, but that can't be good. And then all of a sudden we get the text or whatever, then we get the notification that Big Sky that they canceled their events, man. And I was just so hurt, man. Like I was so hurt. Then not only like for my team, but our two seniors, right? But with Layden, then with Harry, man, I was so hurt because again, like you can never predict this. And this is why, right? Just to touch back to the previous point that we had about taking things for granted, because like we never know. Then I'm not saying that we took things for granted at all. We were prepped and everything like that, but it's just kind of the main message of you never know. Like you never know. Like Harry and Layden had no idea that their last collegiate game ever was going to be like their senior night that happened like 4 days ago. Like they had no idea, you know, like in just like a blink of an eye, bang, their college careers are done. And then so we were just so hurt, man. There were tears in that meeting room. We were just shocked. Like we were shocked. And then obviously that was Sprink's, that was his first year going into the conference tournament. And we wanted it for him. We wanted it like for that staff, for that team in general, for them two seniors. But again, we just never know, you know, like we never know. And so that was extremely hurtful, man. But we packed up on the bus like that same day, and then just drove back. We didn't even fly back. Like obviously, because all the like the airlines were canceled too. So, but we called up a bus, boom, boom. We got a charter bus, then just drove back to Bozeman that very same day that the news dropped. But that was crazy. Then as soon as we got back to Bozeman, you know, we got the AO. We had a quarantine. We had to stay within the state, right? But then obviously they started to lift up. We went to that remote learning, that online stuff. We finished out the year like that way. Yeah, that was just a huge, like a culture shift, man. That was a huge shock and a huge shift, man, like to all of our systems. And just, yeah, man, going to that remote learning. And then when we could go home, we went home when they lifted the airline, the like restrictions and the travel restrictions. Obviously with certain barriers, right? But with the mask on and all that stuff, you had to be a mask and the 5 feet away stuff. And so just, yeah, man, that was just a culture shock. That was a huge shift in our momentum. So.
Bro, what was like kind of the feeling going into that conference tournament before you guys knew? Did you guys feel like I know you talked about how you wanted to do it for your coaching staff and everything, but I know the next year after that, you guys finished, I think, third. And then the next year after that.
Yeah. So no, yeah, that's the whole thing, right? Like we were ready. Like we knew the dynamic, right? And then again, that's just a thing of like we'll never know. But in my opinion, dog, like we were ready than ever. That coaching staff that they prepared to that point, that were Sprink's a dog, man. Like Sprink is a winner. Like in fact, like he even won with Montana State, right? Like he won a chip with Montana State. And then again, right, like his resume up to this point that like speaks to like for itself. So obviously we had the COVID year where it got canceled. Then the very next year, we went to the conference final, right? Then against Eastern. Then we lost to Eastern by I think like 8. Then the very next year, they win the conference final, right? So in my personal opinion, I'm telling you, man, we were as locked in as ever. That way Harry and Layden were locked in as ever. Us as a team was locked in as ever. And man, we would have won. We would have won. And then again, that's just a thing of like we'll never know, but we were more than prepared to make that run. We were ready.
Well, okay, I actually have 2 more things. We'll keep it super short. What? Okay, like a school like a smaller school goes up against a really big school, say in the NCAA tournament, a 1-16. What is the feeling in the locker room when you know that only one team has beat a number or a 16's only beat a 1 seed one time or whatever the stats are. What is going through that locker room? What are people saying? What are people feeling? Are people already packing it up? Are they?
Yeah.
What's the vibes?
Man, honestly, and then that's why I love the tourney, man. That's why I love it, because of like a matchups like those, right? Because obviously, right, and then you got the Power Fives, which is understandable, right? And obviously, they get all the media attention and all the revenue and all this stuff that's going through their pipeline and through their universities and everything like that. But man, I'm telling you, man, mid majors got some dogs to them, like mid major schools, man. Like they got some dogs to them, man. And so I was so happy when my boys, when they made it, right? When they went to the tournament, right? Like you're obviously like, man, but man, I wish that I could have been there with them, right? But I was very happy to like seeing all my boys like the year after, you know, to like really finish that journey, right? To like that vision. Because obviously, man, that's a collegiate player dream. Like you always want to play in the dance. That's why you hoop, right? Like you always want to be in that one shining moment song and everything like that. And you always want that, man. So that's why you hoop. And just to see those boys do that, man, I feel like they as prepared as ever. They're like, because again, like they got nothing to lose. There ain't no pressure on the 16s and the 15s. There ain't no pressure on the mid-major schools, right? Now, obviously, right, like you obviously want to do it because you're representing something that's more than yourself, right? That's you and your family, but then your university, then your upbringing, like, and everything like that. Like, damn, like I made it to the dance. Now let me go show out, right? But all in all, man, there ain't nothing to lose for them teams, right? Like they don't got the pressure on them. They just out there playing. They playing the game that they love on the biggest stage in the world. And you know what I mean? Like if you just shake off like them jitters, then I feel like anything's possible, man. And that's why there's so many upsets, and that's why that's the best span of basketball in the world right there. That March Madness is crazy.
Explain what you think. We'll keep it like within like a minute because I'm super long with the sports because I'll sit here and talk sports with
you. Yeah, of course.
Explain what you thought about when you heard that USC and UCLA were coming to the Big Ten, and like when Texas and all those schools were going to the SEC or the two Oklahoma. What are your thoughts on that, and how does that change the landscape of college sports?
Man, I feel like it changes it in a very, very dramatic way, right? Like I feel like they're trying to go to kind of like these super conferences, right? Just from a bird's eye view, from an outside view. And then again, they're always having those internal like discussions on what their plans are. We just hear about teams, oh yeah, like they're interested in moving. But in my opinion, that just kind of seems like what it's headed towards. Because obviously, right, you got these California schools, right? They got to go and they got to play a game in the shivering cold like in Indiana, like in Maryland and shit like that. So then one like those travel days in itself is going to be crazy, right? And then they're not really used like to them elements, especially like them Pac-12 kind of school and stuff like that. I was more shocked by the California school like more than anything. The Texas and Oklahoma, I kind of understood because they're going to the SEC, right? Like with Bama, then with LSU and stuff like that. Like I kind of understood that. But the Pac kind of like making that move, those two schools to the Big Ten or the Big 12?
Big Ten.
Yeah, Big Ten with all them schools with the Michigans and the Michigan States. I don't, right? Like it's great, right? But like for revenue, like in ratings and everything like that, and for the certain like universities playing out the biggest stage and all this attention towards them. But I just alignment wise, I kind of didn't see where they're going besides the super conferences. So
bro, the one thing I thought about was, and you kind of touched on it, was travel. What happened? I'm a Nebraska Cornhusker fan. Okay. Nebraska, I've been watching the Big 10, Big 12 when we came from the Big 12. It's cold, bro. My family's from Nebraska. We're from Lincoln. Like it's cold, bro. Like I don't give a fuck what you got to say. Like in October, November, it is cold. And I thought about what are they going to do when UCLA's got to go to Rutgers in November, early October, November. I know if like I understand you got to go to Seattle, you got to go to like those, but I get the standpoint. I just thought the travel was kind of absurd, bro. When you're touching every corner touching the corners of the state or the United States.
Exactly. No, exactly. Like that alignment wise to me, once again, that's my biggest point. Like I didn't see it. Like I didn't kind of see the necessity for that move, right? Because of what you said, the travel and the elements, again, that's a great thing about football, right? Then I don't play football, but shoot, the fact that they got to play the like in them elements, right? Because like us hoopers, we playing in gyms. That's so we good. Right. But yeah, like those elements and shit that can make or break games, that can make or break like certain matchups and everything like that. So
does the elements ever add an extra like just struggle on traveling, like when you guys are traveling? Like,
oh yeah, oh my gosh. Ooh, them delays.
Like,
Yeah.
because you guys are probably what? You guys flying like Alaskan or Southwest or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah. So we usually fly, we try to do like United, like as much as we can. We try to do United, but if we go into like a Seattle school or like a Washington school, then yeah, but we're Alaska. And so it's just, yeah, that them delays and them travel delays are crazy sometimes.
Bro, what is it like to be in like the locker room and like at like the hotel, things that people don't see?
Yeah. No, man, that's some of the greatest parts of that collegiate like experience, right? That camaraderie that you build with people. Because again, right, on the court stuff, we're gonna develop like that chemistry, right? Mm-hmm. But off the court, that's such an important aspect to it, man. Like honestly, like just being social with your boys, right? Like getting to know them on a personal level, right? Like I've had some of the deepest talks with my teammates, just on a personal level, right? Just some of like the closest things that were to me, like I've shared with them because I built that bond with them from an off the court like perspective, right? And then I just kind of feel like that makes everything better when you're on the court as well, right? Like you trust them, like they trust you, bang bang. But when you get onto the court, that's just that's just butter, right? Like it just flows, man. It's easy. And so, but the off the court stuff, yeah. So some of my best, like my best moments and my best like memory, like from college, like is all of the off the court stuff. That to me is something that I'll never forget, like ever.
I swear. Okay. One more thing, and then we'll kind of transition to your team. And like, I kind of, I texted you about this a couple of days, probably like a week ago, and that report came out about Kyler Murray, about the clause, the 4-hour study clause that he got put into his contract. Bro, have you ever just explain that? Have you ever heard of like, do people just not like, are there people that just pull up and just don't do no film study and really just ball out like that? Like, or is it like,
yeah, okay, now I'm gonna say so let me answer your first part of the question. I personally have never seen a clause within, and then again, they're professionals, they're pro athletes. I personally have never seen a clause within a pro athlete contract say that you have to watch X amount of hours of film for you to get your guaranteed money. I personally have never seen that. Now, that to me is alarming. It's extremely alarming if you have to put it in writing, like for you to get your bread, right? Like that to me is crazy. And then obviously they kind of had the backlash, right? Where Kyler was like, man, I obviously watch film and all this stuff. And then the Cardinals heard it or whatever. That dude was getting killed on like all the socials, right? Then Kyler heard it, the front office heard it. Then they took that clause out of it, right? They kind of posted like an Apple Notes like explanation. And it was like, oh, to like due to recent events and stuff like that. We didn't want this reaction. We're gonna take out the clause. So that to me is just a little weird, bro. Like I don't get that dynamic. So like I personally have never heard it. Nah, but yeah, but I've definitely like just seen some dudes that I'm not even talking about, but like collegiately. Like I've just seen like some dudes that can just, they can show up late, they can just throw on their shit, then they give you 30. Like I've seen some dudes like that. That's just, you know what I mean? Like it is what it is, right? That is what it is in terms of that. So yeah, just some people are just, just natural in that way.
Bro, when I heard that, I thought that was crazy. Especially if the first thing I thought about was if he's doing that with no film study, what he's already doing. True. Imagine what happens when someone teaches him how to watch film or
exactly.
Because obviously, bro, he's 23 years old, bro. You're 24.
24.
Yeah. So you He's
Mhm.
the exact age as us, bro. He's going through the exact same emotions with the females, with work, with
Mhm.
all of this. Like,
Mhm.
I'm like, I can't wait to see him when he actually learns, bro, how to study film and all that good stuff. But let's kind of get into your team, bro.
Love.
Yeah, to talk about your team, bro. Talk about how you got to is Tempe.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, let's just get down to it, and then give me two players. Just give me two players to watch for this year that are just gonna like maybe your seniors or something that are gonna make some noise.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, man. Like obviously, right. But when I transitioned from college, right, my knees were shot. My body was done. My last year, it was very hard to enjoy the game the way that I wanted to. And when I had those conversations, like afterwards, right, I got contacted by some the, like representatives and like agents, stuff like that. Some through my brother, like some through obviously like when you're in the basketball community, people reach out to you and stuff like that. But then they were just like, hey, like I got some teams that are interested. You know what I mean? They're like 6'10", they're like athletic, stuff like that. They're looking for guys like that. And I just like I straight up said, I'm like, man, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to feel this way. Like if I'm, you know what I mean, like 1,000 miles like away from home. Like if
Mm-hmm.
I'm in like a foreign country, I just don't want to go to a daily grind because that overseas grind is different. Like that is an extremely like different grind. There's a lot of my boys right now that are in the overseas route. You know, Joe, my boy Zeno, the Bonton went to it. That boy Harry's in it right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they always tell me it's like, man, it is a grind. Like it is a crazy grind, and you have to love the game unconditionally, which is never like the case for me. Man, I love the game. That's why like I transitioned into coaching, right? But it was just like my body could not perform like to the level that I wanted it to be successful in that realm. Like I just knew that my body was already broken down. And so like I came home, man, and I just wanted to like I always want to stay within the game, man. So, like I ultimately knew that coaching was my next route. And I got in contact with the principal up there. I actually played with his son. Like I played with Q for Quentin Gulliford. And so his dad was the principal at Tempe. And he was like, hey, we have an opening for you. Like if you're interested, obviously. And then I was originally just supposed to coach the JV team, right? That was supposed to be my team. I said, okay, but I'll take what I can get right now. Like I got my foot in the door. Love it, man. Like I always want to make an impact, like what my coaches did for me. Like my coaches are unbelievable mentors, man. Like I remember every single coach and mentor that I've had in my life, man, and they just had like such an impact on me that I want to do the same for the next ones up, right? That's my ultimate goal. And so I was like, yeah, like JV is great. There was a situation where the coach that they hired, like for varsity, like he couldn't make it out that year. So then they approached me, hey, well, would you like the interim tag for the head coach this year? And I said, man, this is an opportunity. You know what I mean? Then that's all you wish for, just for an opportunity, right? Then you make the most out of that opportunity, right? Like you know what I mean? Like, so that was a blessing. And then, but we went through the season. Then after the season was over, there was another conversation. And then they wanted me to remain as the permanent coach there, the permanent like head coach up there, man. And I'm just extremely blessed. And so that's what I'm doing up there now. That's how I got there. And yeah, man, just being around these kids, man, and teaching the kids the game, man, and just seeing the joy that they have for it. It just absolutely like amazing. And whatever way I could be like a positive impact on their life right now that I can be, that's what I want to be, right? Then I always want them to know that, hey, like it's not just hoop for me, right? Like if you need to come to me about like personal things, then come to me about personal things. Then plenty of them have, right? But I just feel like it's really important to build like these relationships, like especially with kids in that kind of like demographic, right? Like they're 14 to like to 17, like they're going into that like adulthood, right? Like they're going into college, right? And kind of just like they haven't kind of really seen what life is yet, right? Up to that point. Now, I know that I haven't either. Obviously, like we young, man. We 24 years old, right? And so like I'm continuing to learn as well. But whatever information and knowledge that I can pass on to them right now from my own experiences, I would love to share. You know what I mean? And that brings joy to my heart every single day, man. Like I go into work every single day, just excited to see the team, just excited to see them, right? And man, but what I'm being right now, man, this group this year, they're very hardworking. They want to work, and you know, like I'm just very excited to get to work with them this season. And then there are two guys you asked for, right? Talking about two guys.
Yeah.
Hey, man, two guys.
I won't make you pick one because I was making people pick one person.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, one of them is LaCorey Bolton. I'll give you that name. Yeah, LaCorey. Man, and he is such a hard worker, man. That boy, like he texted me yesterday, you know, just like a paragraph, right? But because we're about to start like our fall workout soon. They're gonna start like next week. And but Corey, then he just hit me just out of the blue, like, hey coach, like I'm hungry. Man, I can't wait to go to work, man. Like I'm hungry. Like, let's get to it. Right. And just his work and his progression from what I've seen like last year, like to this year is absolutely crazy. And he's gonna be a junior. So like he got a ways to go, right? But his progression just like week by week, right? Even from the spring workouts, right? Then into the summer workouts. And then they're about to start fall workouts. So his week by week, like progression has been absolutely like amazing to see, man. And then I love it. He's such a hard worker. That boy's a dog. They always ask me, hey coach, what kind of drills can I do? Hey coach, what did I see on this play? Hey coach, what advice like do you have for me, like in terms of this? Hey coach, when can I watch film with you? Right. So he's just very persistent that he wants to be great, right? That he wants to play at that next level. Then he has the tools to do it, the work ethic too, right? And like he always has that. So like he had the right tools to do it. Then now we just got to put it all together. And then probably the next one is probably Benedict. Probably Benedict. Yeah, that's probably another one. He's going to be a junior too. And we always clown on Benedict, but because we always say that he's going to be a president one day, right? Like he's in all these events and clubs and stuff like that. He's like a 3-sport athlete, like he does swim, right? Then he's a part of
y'all got swim over there?
Yeah, man. We got swim. But man, it's Arizona, baby. We gotta have some pools out here. We gotta have some pools out here, man. We'd be dying if we didn't have no pools. But yeah, but he does swim, he does track, then he does basketball. You know, we always say that he has a couple of like nonprofits on the side that he's got to run, and he's got to go to like save the polar bears and pandas and stuff on the side too. We just always joke with him because he's always doing so much. Like he's always doing so much, and he is so hard on himself, like all the time. And I'm like, man, you just got to relax, right? Like I always know, but when he's in his own head, right? But that's just because like he wants it so much, right? That he expects so much, like from himself, which I love. That he's a perfectionist, like to a fault, but he has to understand that he's human, that he's gonna make mistakes, right? Mm-hmm. And then obviously I can help out like any way that I can to help him kind of, you know, like straighten out those knots and whatever that he wants to straighten out on. But he's always asking for work too, man, and he just wants it. This group this year is hungry, man. This group this year is really hungry, man. I'm really excited, man, to get to work and to have the season with them, man. Like for real.
That's what's up. That's what's up, bro. Give me a prediction. It don't got to be a championship or anything. Give me a prediction that you see out of your team this year. Like, is somebody gonna break a scoring record? What do you?
Look at that. I'm gonna put me on the spot. Let's see.
Oh, we asked prediction down here.
Of course, dog. Man, I always tell my guys, right, to take it just day by day. Take it day by day, right? But because you my guy, man, I'm finna work one out for you. Let's see.
My guy.
My prediction for this year is that we will have the region MVP will be on our team this year. We'll have the MVP on our team this year. Okay.
Yeah. Explain to the people how you're like here in Spokane, our highest 4A. So we go up to 4. What are the classes there? Is it 6A? Explain the class that all works.
Yeah, the highest is 6. Then when I went to high school, like I went to Bachelor High School, so we were 6A. But then they divvy it up by the enrollment of the whole entire school, right? So obviously, like if it's a bigger school, like 3,000 plus, they're gonna be 6A, right? Then you got 5A, 4A, 3A, then it goes down to 1A. Well, so Tempe, we're 4A. We're a 4A school, so we're kind of like mid-major, right? Like in college terms, like we're mid, right? And then like from that 4A standpoint, they break them up into regions, right? Or sections. And there's usually 5 or 6 teams, like in each of your regions and your sections. So yeah.
Okay. What is the biggest surprise to you that, like, as a player transitioning into a coach, that you were just like, damn, like I never expect, like my coach really had to go through this? Like,
man, I've gained, and I tell my coaches this all the time, but whenever I see them these days, I've gained so much respect for them in terms of having to manage certain like personalities, right? Like having to manage certain gameplay and game styles and kind of how to bring the best out of each and every single person that's on your team. It's a very hard thing to do. It's a very hard thing to accomplish. That obviously, like this is gonna be like my second year, but like I got a lot of learning to go. But that first year was such an eye opener to me in terms of like how to game plan and how to scheme, right, and kind of like how to put the right guys in right spots. And again, this is just kind of how like to manage like personalities, right? How to manage like different egos, because not every single person like is the same, right? Then just to kind of right like from a player perspective too, right? We can't really like talk to one player like we can another because of their reactions, right? Like everyone like reacts differently. Like I know with LaCory, right? I could give it to him to like 100%, and I know 100% that he's not going to take it personal, right? Then now with another player, but like if I talk to them the way that I talk to LaCory, they're probably going to have like a different reaction, like and think that I hate them, right? They'll go to their parents and they'll be like, man, like coach hates me. It's like, nah, but like I don't hate any one of my players, right? When I'm coaching you, it's never personal. It's never a personal thing with me. Like I'm never going to come at your character, right? Like I'm never going to come at you as a person, like personally, right? But then I just feel like having to manage how to kind of have your players understand that whenever like I'm on the court, but we're trying to bring the best like out of you, like from a player's perspective, and that we would never ever attack you personally. That's just me, right? That there may be some coaches that do, but I would never do that, right? Then we're all good here, right? So just having to manage like those different like personalities and everything like that, that to me, like I give them kudos for, because it's a crazy adjustment.
Okay, bro, like that. All right, what is something, I know we kind of talked about the injury earlier. What is another like adversity that you had to kind of go through, and how did you like come through it? And how did you overcome the adversity, basically?
Yeah, man.
Or what do you do to overcome adversity?
Man, yeah, no, that's a great question, V. I would say when I got redshirted, that was some of like mentally the darkest spot that I've been in a minute. Because obviously, right, like a typical redshirt is that you come into school, then you redshirt then, right? But in my situation, I played my first year, had the conversation, man, I want to say like 3 weeks before the like our season kind of like opener, right? We had the conversation, and then the coach brought me in. Then this is Freak, this is Fish. Fish brought me in and said, "Hey, we would like to redshirt you this year." And then we don't got to dive into the deep dive of that conversation. And yeah, that's something for another day. We'll talk about that later, behind closed doors and everything like that. But yeah, no, that was some of the darkest spots that I have personally been in, because like, man, like I'm ready, right? Like I already played, right? Like I've seen it up close now, like for a whole year. So then like I made the adjustments, man. I trained harder with my trainer, man. I got my knees more healthy, right? And you just have that conversation. It's like, oh yeah, like you're gonna sit out this year. It was like, damn, man. It was just like a blow, right? Like a striking blow, like to the chest, to the heart, man. And that was just a tough thing, right? But I was mad that first day. But I truly feel like to overcome it, right? Like if you let that negative energy, right, like fester inside you, right, that's not gonna do you no good, right? Like you got to flip it in whichever way that you can to turn it into a positive. Then just get to work, right? Then to get back like to that place. Because trust me, like not everything is gonna be like peachy smooth and crystal clean, right? We understand that. So as soon as it's not, man, you gotta put your head down. Then you got to go to work. You got to go to work, man. And that's what I did. I was upset for like 2 or 3 days max, but I just used that as fuel, right? Just to come back like stronger, better, right? Then not only physically, like, but mentally, right? Then just kind of know that I can push through whatever is thrown my way. I'm going to push through it, and I'm still going to accomplish all my goals that I set out to accomplish. And this is just a roadblock. That's it, right? We all go through roadblocks. That's it. But it's how you handle those, right? That's your true character. When it's not going crystal clear, when it's not going 100%, right? But like we all get when things are going our way, right? But when something, right, that makes you stop for a second, like a roadblock comes that makes you stop, like it makes you turn and make you pivot, how you going to like adjust to that situation right there? And then I feel that if you adjust to it like in a positive way, in a positive manner, then you focus all your energy, then you channel that like to a positive way, that you'll come out of that stronger, man. That's just what I have to realize.
Okay, I like that, G. One thing back real quick, it could be, do the really really good players in college get paid under the table?
Like terms of what?
Like, I'm not going to say university, maybe university is there like a nudge, wink, wink? If you come to our school, like we're going to give you some little dough under the table to make sure that like, let's just say, what's the boy out of Arizona, the center dude a couple years ago?
DeAndre
Ayton?
Ayton?
Yes. Shit like that happening before this whole NIL stuff. Were people getting paid to actually like come through?
In my opinion, I feel like they were. And then again, that's just me, right? But like I've never been around people that got those deals, and I got that kind of the under the rug type stuff. But I definitely feel like obviously like you hear like scandals about that stuff like all the time, right? Mm-hmm. That's a dish, yeah. So that's yeah.
All right, bro. I just wanted to know, because I'd be thinking.
Hey, of course. I like, won't say yeah.
We have an arena football team. Well, we used to, and they used to, like back in the day, like when I was in high school, I used to work for them, and pay people under the table, like the really good quarterbacks, and like they like 50,000 or whatever. Like, what is your definition of success?
That's a great question. That's a sensational question, actually. Wow. I personally would say that you did what you wanted to do in the manner that is most comfortable, like to you, right? Because like a lot of people they view wealth obviously as success, right? Mm-hmm. Like obviously like what's your value and what are you making and everything like that. But to me, man, like if you truly do what you love to do, right? Then you're having fun doing it. Then you're making an impact like on others. That's the main thing for me. Like I want to make an impact on others, like a positive impact on others, man. But like that's all that I want to do, right? But then as long as I do that, then in my eye, then I'm successful, right? But like with my players, man, I cannot tell you how heartwarming it was. We had like 9 seniors this past year, right? And then on their senior night, right? Whenever like I gave them the flowers and like I shook the dad's hand and then I hugged the mom. Then when I dapped up the player, right, then just embraced them. then when they said, hey, coach, thank you so much like for everything that you do for me, honestly. Like meeting you, that it's been like such a blessing, right? Like for them to say those kind words to me, like in just the 1 year that I've known them, that to me is success, right? That was like a successful season, like for me personally, because I made this, like I made an impact, like in only like 6 or 7 months, like of knowing them. I like to have them like know that no matter like what they need, that I'll always be there for them, right? So I feel like obviously we can't use the stereotypical the money and wealth as kind of the success bar like for everything, right? But like for me personally, right? Like if you do what you love to do, you know what I mean, in the manner of whichever way that you see fit, which for me like is impact, right? And just like building those connections, right? Like in them, like letting them know, right, that they're another extension, like of my family, but like as soon as they're a part of like my team, they're family for life. Then as long as they know that, then I'm successful within my current field, man, and that's a great feeling for me.
I agree, bro. I like that answer. Give me. I know we kind of did. You gave us one earlier.
Yeah.
Give another pet peeve of yours.
Man.
When you see somebody do this, it just irks your soul.
Yeah, man. Let's see. Man, I want to say shit. I want to say like when people expect to get like spoon fed. That's what I want to say. Just because of my personal experience, right? That ain't never been me. Like you always got to work for everything. Like you got to work for everything, man. Like ain't nothing given to you at all. And so just when it's people, when they expect for something to happen, when they didn't put the appropriate like amount of work in, I can't stand that.
Exactly.
Like, I can't stand that. That's terrible.
Bro, I'm sure you have seen people that like, that's kind of why I asked you about that earlier question about if people are really rolling out of bed playing basketball. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember where I was going with that, so it must not have been. But yeah. Give me one more thing and then we'll wrap it up. How does somebody get ready to like? What is an athlete that's like around the ages of like 16, getting ready to go to their whatever sport it is? What is two things that they need to do? Maybe give me one mentally and one physically that they need to do to go play collegiate. Whatever it is.
Yeah. To play collegiately?
Yeah.
In my opinion, right? Just mentally, just always know, right? That whenever your opportunity comes, that you will be ready for it, right? And I always tell my player that you're a product of your repetition. You're a product of your repetition, right? Just never get down on yourself and always put in the work. But because that mental side of things, that can make or break an athlete, but especially. Right. That I'm a huge like advocate, right? That like on mental health, man. Like I even still got the Montana State band that's under one like Big Sky. It was our mental health kind of quote, right? That I'm just huge on that because mental health within, first of all, like in general, right? It's so huge and that's something that needs to be addressed and like handled like accordingly, man. But like I just want people to be good, right? But especially within the world of athletics, because obviously there's that stigma of like, oh yeah, like you're too good, like to go and seek help, right? There's kind of like that stigma of that, and it's like, oh yeah, like if you seek help, then you're perceived as weak, but which shouldn't be the case at all, right? Like you're actually stronger for acknowledging, hey man, like I really need help with this. Like you're stronger in my eye, like if you can have that self-reflection to kind of like put your pride to the side, then go handle your business for the overall like betterment, but like of your overall life. That to me is so huge to me, man. And so if you just understand that your opportunity, that you may not be playing like 30 minutes a game as a true freshman, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. Just work your way up, like pay your dues and continue to work. Like always work, and don't take nothing for granted. Don't expect to get spoon fed. Just continue to work and trust the process and know that when the opportunity comes, you will be ready because you are a product of your repetition. And I'm huge on that. So mentally, like just stay locked in there. And I would say like physically that the rehab right? The rehabilitation side of things and taking care of your body before and like after, whether that's lifts, games, or practices, is huge, right? The best of man, I can't even get this out. The best ability is like availability, right?
Yeah.
Like you always want to be available. You always want to be available, right? So like you want to make the athletic trainer, right? Like you want to make him your best friend, whether that's him or her. Like you want to make them like your best friend, which in the whole entire staff, right there. Because I'm telling you, I don't play those 5 years without Brett Redder, right? Without my trainer, I don't play those 5 years without like Wayne Dawkins, my personal trainer, without Sarah, my PT trainer, but when I came back from that injury, right? I don't play those 5 years without like any of that, right? And so like I just feel like it's really important to take the rehab side very seriously, right? Like after practice, right? Don't just go home, go and get ice, right? Go and get worked out, that massage down and everything. They're like go on the rollers, could go and stretch, right? Like you always want to be available because it is a grind with those constant practices and the travel and the sleep schedule. It's a grind on your body. Then you don't even know it yet until the end of the season, but where you're like, damn, man, like I'm sore as fuck, right? They're like, I'm sore as shit, right? They're like, you always got to take care of your body. Always take care of your body, man. Make them your best friend, like for real.
Bro, I think that's really important. And then you said something twice, bro, that I really like. You're a product of your repetition.
Yeah.
Bro, that's gold right there, bro. That is perfection. That is perfect. I agree. Okay, one more thing. Explain to everybody. I hear this sometimes, and my brother says, I'm not gonna say my brother, maybe like my brother and his friends, and like maybe some younger people. Explain to everybody how like a walk-on or a person at the end of the bench on the NBA team would come through and bust anybody at your local YMCA, anybody.
Dog is crazy. That's the biggest thing, right? Like they put in the exact same work that we all put in, right? Like they're still a part of the workouts too, right? They still in go, right? They just, they just haven't gotten the opportunity yet. But it's very important to understand, especially like the professionals, right? They're pros like for a reason, right? Like I've met a lot of great players that were never pros, right? Then it's just a testament like to what they do, because that pro regiment, right? Like you got to be a very special dude to make it right there, like to that level, right? Then I just think that's very important, like for people to understand, right? Exactly like what you said. Like if they just went to like a men's league or like an open run, man, you would think that they Jordan, right?
Yeah,
the whole thing, right? So I just think it's very important to respect like their craft and what they do, then to understand that they're there like for a reason. Like they're not just there to like to be bumps, right? They're like for a purpose and for a reason. So yeah.
Bro, that's the biggest pet peeves is when I hear somebody. I don't know if like I remember when we used to play in rec, bro. Some of the walk-ons, bro, they would come through to the rec sometimes, bro. They only happen maybe like once or twice, but bro, they gave buckets. Buckets, bro.
Exactly.
It's like niggas with long hair and shit too. You're just looking at them like, bro, what are you doing? Like, no, this nigga, I like this, bro.
Exactly.
But that is one of my biggest pet peeves is when people say that like walk-ons suck or the person at the end of the bench sucks. Bro, it is about the situation that you're in, bro. Anybody that's in the NBA, bro, they can be a star, bro. If you give them the proper the time, you give them everything that they need. All of them can hoop, bro. All of them can play. One can play, bro. A lot of these walk-ons just don't have that notoriety, or that they're coming from a place that maybe people they overlook them or whatever it is.
True.
Yeah, that's one of my things. Bro, I hate that. But bro, I just want you to know I really appreciate you, G. You are I met you, bro. You were one of the first people that I met at Montana State, bro. One of the first Black people that I met too, bro. Like it was, and I remember too. I remember like I introduced myself to you, bro, and I'm like, my nigga, like, who are you, bro? Like, what's up? And I probably asked you if you had some weed or something. Like, I don't even remember what the hell I asked, like, or where I could get some weed from.
Yeah.
I hate you, bro, because you are the type of person, bro. It doesn't matter who they are, bro. It could be the janitor, bro. It could be the CEO, bro. You give that person the same respect, bro. You give bro. You were just a very what's the word? You're just a very just a good person, bro. And people want to be around. And I just appreciate I feel like sometimes, and I know you've been probably around athletes or people that are of stature or whatever, and they just feel like they're bigger than everybody else that's there. And I never once I feel like that's a testament to who Montana State has at playing basketball. Because I always felt like you guys were very just there. You guys were at the same parties. We're eating together in the lunch halls at Avu. Like I just want you to know that I really appreciate you, bro, because not many people are like you, bro, and that can make the transition from sports to coaching. And that's kind of what I wanted to highlight like in this YouTube, is just like kind of how people translate to like where sports, bro, was your life, bro. That's what you did every single day, played basketball, to not playing basketball no more. And I know I have friends, bro, that are making that transition now, that are struggling that transition to like, who am I? Who am I as a person? Who am I? What do I have to offer other than playing sports? And that's what I want other people to see, bro, that there's so many other out here, G, to like to really. And I just want you to know I appreciate you, bro, and I love you. And that like, bro, if you ever needed anything, you already know these things. But like,
of course, dog. Of course. No, for real, man. But that's a lot of love, man. But I really appreciate you, man, everything that you do. So like first and foremost, G, right? Like you already know this is like our friendship, this spans back years, right? Like we already know this. And so now for real, but man, with all them kind words, man, I just really appreciate you, man. Again, that's just how I was raised. That's how I was brought up, right? Was taught those values, right?
Kirby, bro.
Exactly, man. Like just taught those values, man. And I just want to see people succeed. If if you my boy, or like if you like in my circle, right? Like I just always want to see y'all eat, man. And I just love when when my people like are thriving, man, and doing well. Then I always want them to know that I'll always be like in their corner, right? Like I always pride myself on being like reliable, right? Like and genuine, right? Like I'm not gonna bullshit you. Right. That's just the one thing about me, man. And I just really love those words and appreciate you, obviously, just as a friend, man, and as a brother, man. And I really appreciate you, man, and love you too. For real.
Come on. Hey, I just want you to know, bro, you